The look and design of both of these smartphones is actually top. Each is different and each actually looks great in my opinion. The Samsung is so much more blocky, it's bigger. The Pixel is again smaller and has rounded size. The Pixel fits very well in the hand and is very easy to use. Both phones support IP68, so no splashes are terrible for them. I am also bored by the screens of both these devices. In Samsung we have 6.8 inches and in Pixel we have OLED 6.7 inches. Both screens have increased refresh rate to 120 Hz. Now in the Pixel the screen is flat and the bezels are very symmetrical, and that's what I really like here. What is different about these screens is, first of all, Pixel has now a maximum brightness of 2400 nits and Samsung 1715 nits. This is what it looks like on paper. And what does it look like in real life? In fact, if you have the maximum brightness set to hard, that is not adaptive brightness, the Pixel screen actually seems brighter both indoors and in the sun, outdoors. And when you would shoot videos outside or take photos at the brightness set to hard, then the Pixel didn't darken the screen for me. It was about 24 degrees. On the other hand, the situation really changed when you start using automatic brightness. Then we find that very often Pixel screen seems darker than the Samsung screen. At home or in the sun is the same. Samsung managed this brightness much better and is much better at keeping the maximum brightness on the auto brightness. And now biometric. On the Samsung, face unlock in 2D. On the Pixel, face unlocking that allows authentication of banking apps. On the other hand, it isn't Face ID known, for example, from iPhone, because after dark this face unlock simply will not work. It's too dark. In contrast, the fingerprint here in Samsung ultrasonic and in Pixel optical, and it seems, however, Samsung works a little faster. It seems to me a little less wrong than it is on the Pixel. And then the performance. In Samsung Snap 8 Gen 2, UFS 4.0, on Pixel new chip Tensor G3, UFS 3.1. And how does it look in real? Samsung is such a rocket. You can say it fast, freaking fast. Everything here fires up in the flash. Pixel, on the other hand, is slower. He tries to be so pleasant to the eye. You can actually call the Pixel the iPhone on Android, for the reason that the Pixel doesn't try to overtake any device. In fact, people who know how Pixels work know perfectly well what I mean. These animations are so pleasing to the eye. In addition, we still have to mention that great haptic in Pixel, which appears when we need it. It's so on point, and I buy it. This haptic completes the picture of Pixel's overall performance. But I must be admitted that apps open faster on the Samsung. That's how it's visible here. And how is the issue of overheating? Samsung actually remains cold in almost every situation. Even when it was very warm, the heating was so slight that it was practically unnoticeable. In the case of Pixel, under pressure of high demanding tasks as long-term taking pictures, recording video, yes, the Pixel will heat up noticeably warmer than the Samsung, but these are not levels that would disqualify this phone. These are temperatures on the order of 37 degrees. And now the additional thing is S Pen, which Pixel doesn't have. In my case, it is used mainly as a camera remote, and I use it very often. Again, the Pixel has features from Google that are often reserved only for it. Talking about this AI, which is now most prominent in photos. And it's really up to you to decide which is more important to you. When it comes to the range of these phones, I don't have a big objections when it comes to the case of Pixel and S23 Ultra. Only in places when I have a kind of low range, then the Samsung does a little better. But in every other case, the Pixel handles, and I haven't had any major problems here. And now the call quality. It seems to me that it's really improved on Pixel 8 Pro at the moment. Although to the Samsung S23 Ultra, it would be fair to point out that Samsung cuts at ambient sound a little better. We are in the foreground very much. On the Pixel, these ambient sounds can be heard a little more, but this call quality on both of these phones is just okay. And now speakers. This is where I'm surprised when it comes to the Pixel. I think they must have been working on these speakers because these speakers plays a little cleaner. Putting these speakers side by side with both the Samsung and the Pixel, maybe a slightly richer sound comes out of the Samsung, but these speakers are already close and both play really decent. As for listening on Bluetooth headphones, both phones support aptX and LDAC, so both lovers of one or the other codecs have no problems here. And now the camera. In terms of the main lens, both of these phones take great pictures. However, the Pixel 8 Pro takes these photos much more natural. The colors are much more natural, especially when it comes to the sky and grass. And also Pixel now manage the HDR a little better. These photos are not as sharpened as in the Samsung, and the Pixel also pulls detail out of the shadows very nicely. These are overall the biggest difference. The wide angle performs very well on both phones. Color from the wide as well as the main lens are not much different. In the Pixel nowadays, the telephoto has a brighter aperture, and this telephoto performs quite well both in good and in the worst conditions. In contrast, the same situation occurs here as in my comparison of iPhone 15 Pro Max with the Samsung. Here we have one telephoto up to 5 times in Pixel, and in Samsung we have 2 telephoto lens, 3 times and 10 times. So it all depends on how you shoot and which range suits you better. And now the zoom. In Pixel we have the option up to 13 times. In Samsung we have options to 100 times, but of course this 100 times is already a marketing trick. Maybe you can preview the subtitles. For anything else, this 100 times is not useful. In good lighting conditions, this 30 times in Pixel, in my opinion, is worse than in Samsung. In Pixel, up to 15, maybe to 20 times is okay. And how is the issue of portraits? I think these phones are at a similar level. Although often portraits from Samsung come out a little better. On the other hand, I still think that the king of portraits this year is iPhone 15 Pro Max. And in fact, neither phone can compete with it that much. And now, front camera. in my opinion, the Pixel handles worse than the Samsung. Sometimes it seems to me that the face on the Pixel is kind of pale, lacking expressions, especially in worse conditions. Samsung wins. Night photos are very similar, while certainly the Pixel gives less orange color in photos than the Samsung does, but actually it's hard to say that the one takes better photos than the other. In fact, it often depends on your preferences. It seems to me that more often on the Pixel appear such lights, such reflections from the lamps, that then it's on the Samsung. On the other hand, for example, flares appear on both the one and the other device. And now the issue of the shutter lag, the issue of the shutter speed. It seems that the Pixel performs better than the Samsung in this matter, especially when it comes to photos in motion. But in poorer conditions and especially on telephoto lens, here we can also expect more shaky photos. However, on a smaller scale than we have on Samsung. And the shutter on the Pixel is still not as fast as on the iPhone. And now the video. At this point, Pixel is already very close to Samsung. What is worth mentioning, at 4K 60 frames on the Samsung, we can switch between lenses. On the Pixel, we can do it. On the other hand, this active stabilization, this is the additional stabilization on the Pixel, only works in full HD, 30 frames. And now to sum up, it all depends on whether you prefer more boosted colors or more natural colors, as it's on the Pixel. Samsung is more versatile because of its two telephoto lenses. On the other hand, the Pixel has amazing AI features in photos. It's moving objects in photos, removing excessive sound from videos, and extended magic eraser. It all depends on what you prefer more. In truth, both of these smartphones photographically are great. And now the battery. The battery in Samsung S23 Ultra is awesome. This is the Android next to the Asus Zenfone 9 and 10 did the best from this angle. In fact, every day I'm left with about 30 to 40% battery left to spare for the next day. On the Pixel, I either have no reserve left or just very little. So theoretically, looking in terms of battery, the Samsung seems to be better. But there is actually no problem for the Pixels to last on battery until the end of the day. So at this point, I can't say that this battery is somehow terribly weak either. This battery is on the level of Pixel 7 Pro, maybe a little better. And now actually, which of these phones to choose? I will tell you that the situation was a little simpler last year. First of all, the S22 Ultra wasn't the best phone. Then the Pixel 7 Pro came in with a great price. I want to say that with this price, it really made a revolution last year. The S23 Ultra is a very great phone. It's one of the best Android phones and it's been on the market for more than a half year. Again, the Pixel 8 Pro is a phone currently more expensive by about €100 in the basic version compared to the last year. Of course, if you sell the watch, which you get in the pre-sale, this price gets really great. On the other hand, let's also take into account that the Samsung S23 Ultra can also now be bought at a very good price already. But it doesn't mean that the Pixel 8 Pro is a bad choice. Okay, Samsung S23 Ultra is a complete phone. It's such a top of the top this year. The Pixel 8 Pro will probably be the first choice for people who are looking for the pure Android. that will really be the main reason for the decision. I hope I help you a little. I already thank you very much for this video. I invite you, of course, to my next videos, and see you.